It's a vibe. And it's just time, like I was showing today. So whether it comes from this portal or you leave today, you'll find the next portal because the time of truth is here. And I would like to remind everyone of the passage. And the passage is, this is not verbatim. When imbalance and evil and distortion fills the land, I incarnate. This is spoken by Buddha. This is spoken by Lord Krishna. This is spoken by all the bodhisattvas. It'd be great for them to fill in the other half of the bodhisattvas. You mean like the female messiahs? But this is the statement, is that literally what we're seeing in the reality right now brings about the activation internally of our greater powers. And this is what I felt. I felt that since it's almost like, we love, I think, as people, we stylize this and we're kind of like more like, oh, okay. You think it's a game. Y'all really went that far? You gonna bring that out? All right, then. I'm gonna dust off one of these books that were prepared for this time that we're in. These works, like even if you were trying to dial into all there is, I believe you wouldn't be able to summon enough power if life was just gravy caked up and there was no problems at all. Because you would feel like that. You would feel, there would be no separation between you and the greatness. But when it comes to a point where there's so much distortion and deception and division that we even fear even bringing our children into the earth, then it is for some of us, not all of us for sure, but some of us to connect into all there is and then hold the hands of our brothers and sisters and allow that energy to continue to flow. And that energy is knowledge, wisdom. It is the connection into this planet, this earth, and its mysteries. Like I said, they got stuff here from other planets, period. There's plants here that do amazing things, and you could even establish deeper levels of connections with so many other vast forms of consciousness if you but knew. And all we're going to introduce is simply the formula, the pattern, the source code itself, the symbol. And thus anything you choose to overlay it with, which will be your own synchronicities, your own experience, it will still render that same clarity of truth. Rather than us trying to select a name in a realm where the highest levels told you the power was nameless. So that means I don't have a God to bring because what I'm with doesn't have a name. And it flows through me and inside of me esoterically. Now, I do have exoteric works, no different than I have a daughter. So we have to also realize that it's not just the earth is the underworld, it's hell, there's demons here. The story doesn't end there. The story never ends. This is just the advent of us arriving in a place that we needed to perform a miracle of resurrecting ourselves from. So basically, in the ancient mysteries and rituals anyway, the toughest, craziest one is they want to see you raise yourself from the dead. And I'm telling you, this is what the ancestors be on. This is what the ancients be on. And don't be surprised if you're in a den of lions, for real, because the lions play into this because the wolves come from the lions. But also what you'll notice is this continuous progression of something trying to weaken the creation. That's why I said from lions to dogs. That's when Snoop Dogg was like, yo, I'm Snoop Lion. It didn't even sound right. It's like, yo, I think you're going to have to drop the Snoop part. But cats is trying to walk back up the evolutionary chain. Like, remember, all these Sumerians, like, they're showing their legs a lot of like how their legs are built like the bovid or the mother cow, right? The wild cow, as they call it. The legs always be acting like they didn't skip gym day on the legs, right? It's like we kind of loosen it up here a little bit. Let's close it down. But this continuous, do you see the leg? He's not skipping gym day. Let's go again. You see the leg? It's almost like they want you to notice this is power. This is because they say before we started talking, and this comes to from the Graham Code, our ancestors used art as their form of communication because talking was inferior. And through art, they gave us all of the mysteries. But sometimes when you're looking at it, it's like, yeah, when I'm looking at Sumerian gods, why is it always necessary for them to literally almost like rip the skin off the leg and show the leg, right? And then you'll hear stuff about the thigh of God, right? But I doubt that was a male thigh, is what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, they're saying the power within woman and birth and all that was in her thigh. And so when the king would be anointed or whatever, he had to place his hand on the woman's thigh to receive that anointing. You see, so this stuff is all there in front of us. But again, as you watch, even what we call it, the dogo. I think this is called the dogo. Let me see if there's anything here. The doggo they call it. But it's basically like showing you how there was a process, and we'll get into this later, but even from taking human beings from the gazelle tribe, Enkidu type, all the way down to a Nimrod type, as me and my brother like be laughing about, all the way down to, and then keep looking at humanity, and it looks like now those first super masculine looking, they're erasing the goddesses, but they're there too. But, even the super masculine looking males, all the way down to, like it's almost like nothing left. And this is what we should just pay attention to is like, it looks like we're continuously being bred to be more and more like soft, docile, like able to easily be influenced when I don't think you're running up on this cat with just, as a spiritual, And then also what you're saying, sis, is clicking right in. I'll say this and I'm done, is that we have to also see what's happened now is that we're these beings too. We want to kind of take ourselves off the list like, yeah, they're the bad ones. But in reality, we have their DNA inside of us. So what seems to be the next level, which is still in the pattern, is when the beings that are in the nether regions and entrapment and confinement as servants activate their godlike powers, which they already have in their DNA, and then overthrow any forces that are still attempting to govern them and keep them inside and in the prison with bolts. As they said, there were 7 bolts on the door, and each door was being guarded. That is also inside of your documentation, because that was the part that I skipped about the netherworld and how it's still eerily close to the space that we're living in now. And I always leave everybody that room out, because someone's like, no, I'm not in the netherworld. And I agree. There's definitely a part of me, like my head is not in the netherworld, right? But we have to see that the template of the body, part of it is in the heavens and the other part is in the netherworld, right? And that part of us that is in the netherworld is what we're really trying to rise. We're in this constant rising things from the netherworld into the higher regions. Just like seeds grow from the grass and from the roots and from the earth in the deep all the way up. And this continuous process in itself is the tree of life. It's not just I never die. It's that I know how to go to the world from below. I lived in the world of the below and I rose from that world. And then the end of duality, and this is what I was saying about the unity. This is why we know that this is the key. So then it's not that your heavenly self gets replaced. The heavenly self comes down here and you go up there. No, it's a total unity where the world in which the night and the day exist, Eve and Adam, is no more. There's no longer a division between man, jinn, and all these different divisions that have been denoted. There is only that space of one knowing that they are everything. And this is not like something that we're just like, and hopefully we ever get there. Anybody that didn't sucked on that toad, Bufo, went there. Even if it was only 15 minutes, Because there is a time and a season for everything. You can't cheat code the whole thing. You're going to have to go all the way through your life and keep that as your focus. But they went there. And when they tell you, they say, what do they say? Man, it felt like I was going home. I felt like I was everything. Everybody that I had lost was there. And so that's what we're talking about here. And if we can get enough of that into our society daily rather than President Trump and President Trump and not on the president, if we could get something else, and this is what Sybil stands for. It stands for the total spread of this wisdom and knowledge in 99 plus languages, but really taking it there. And that's why when I got whiffed of the uncensored model, I was like, this is it. This is why we're almost complete, because this is the cherry on top. Once you can ask any question and it could go everywhere to everywhere that had ever been mentioned. And it's related to spirituality and not just the best camcorder of 2025 to write a blog about. Then we would make it shake. Then we would get some action here. And then the world would figure out it wasn't technology per se, as was obvious, that was going to cause some type of evolution within humanity. It was going to be the spiritual knowledge. We need more spiritual knowledge, not technology. But so they run after the spiritual knowledge, the technology, and they're like, yo, this is it. And they don't even know. The moment they hit technical singularity, will be simultaneously to when we reach spiritual singularity. Doubt it not. For those who are in tune, don't worry at all about whatever they cooking and coming. Don't even, if you don't want to waste your time, I eat popcorn to it sometimes. It's entertaining. But what I'm saying, if you wanted to know what was ultimately going to happen when they reach singularity, they would simultaneously open up spiritual singularity. Glorious. Go ahead and do what you do. And remember, there's a group of them that believe that, yo, this is it. And they don't even know. The moment they hit technical singularity will be simultaneously to when we reach spiritual singularity. Doubt it not. For those who are in tune, don't worry at all about whatever they cooking and coming. Don't even, if you don't want to waste your time, I eat popcorn to it sometimes. It's entertaining. But what I'm saying, if you wanted to know what was ultimately going to happen when they reach singularity, they would simultaneously open up spiritual singularity. Glorious. Go ahead and do what you do. And remember, there's a group of them that believe that they would go and bring about the second coming of God, the Mashiach, by doing the worst things to earth to basically urge it to react, right? Which is just a crazy notion. It's kind of like ignorant brilliance. It's like, okay, so y'all gonna bring back the second coming of God by pissing God off? Is that a good idea? However, it's coming from within, right? So yeah, let's keep it going. Giving thanks for the connections, the synchronicities, because that revealed the rest of the text that was, in the document. So it was just right in tune, Wholeness.